Hello and welcome to this demonstration of the Document Controls Library, which is part of the Bluefish Productivity Bundle. This library can be used with Alfresco 4 or Alfresco 5, and it provides a set of custom and configurable form controls that can be used for list item selection. We're going to walk through a quick demonstration of the features of the Document Controls Library now. With the out-of-the-box Alfresco solution, it's fairly easy to back a form field with a list of constraints. However, if this needs to be updated, this needs to be done in the model file. What we provide in this solution is a way to look either a multi-select, a single select, or even autocomplete solutions that can be backed by a configuration properties file, a data list, or a list constraint in the model, an FTS query, or even a SQL query to an external database. So now let's do a quick demonstration using a document type that we've created with a share form. If I go into our document and edit properties, bring up a usual share form, and these are all text fields. However, the share controls are backed by different data sources, either a data list within Alfresco, a properties file, or even an external lookup to another database. And down here, we can actually even do a query within Alfresco using Solar. So these lists can be manipulated by end users, and they will be updated at a set refresh interval as needed. This makes it easy to modify these lists as needed. So we talked about how these are dynamically backed, and let's provide a couple of quick demonstrations. So here we have a data list, and we've created a model for a data list that has some sample data. We pull from one field for this text field, and we pull from another for this one. And to show, if we go to the data lists, that we can actually dynamically add data on the fly and have it show up. So we're going to add a new department. So we add a new department here, and we'll go ahead and add a city as well. And now we've updated our data list. And an end user using Alfresco that has access to this data list can make these changes. In addition, you can point to custom data lists that you created on your own. This one's just generated for an example. But now if we go back to our document library, we should see these options available to us. So we've updated the data list, and now we go back to our document properties. We can see that our options are now available from the list choices. And again, the data list we demonstrated today was one that we created as a sample, but your form can be pointed to a custom data list as needed. The configuration is just basically a properties file. We've created one here with a bunch of entries, either a multi-select or a single select. We also have auto-completion that can be backed by either configurations or data lists. So if I start typing a word in, it'll try to auto-complete it for me. The same is true, it can be backed by a data list or a full text query, and it will find the data for you and you can enter it. Here's the one backed by a SQL query. And here's one where we do configuration, but you have to make a selection. To complete the demonstration, I will show an example of the configuration file and also the simple table that we're using for our SQL example. Here's an example of a properties file based list. We have a key named fruits and then various fruit names that are provided as examples. To make things easier to read, we simply separated each entry by a line, but they could all be a single line separated by commas. And this can be updated and then will be used by any share form that points at this list. For the SQL-backed data source, this is an example table we created called movies, and this table is very simple. It just contains a floating value called rating and then a title. And we actually can write a SQL query to do a query against this table and bring back a set of rows. In this example, we're only looking for any movie titles that have a rating above 8.6. So we leave out one row here. Now if this data table is updated at some point, the data source will be updated as well, and you can see these changes reflected in the control and share. It's important to note that with the SQL-backed queries, the database could be an external system that's not part of your Alfresco database. It could be a table in an external database somewhere else. So this makes it very flexible to point out a custom data source as needed. So the advantage of using a data source to populate your text fields is you can speed up data entry and also improve consistency and avoid things like typos and other problems like that. But because we're not using a constraint in the model, we've made it easy to update data sources as needed, and a user within Alfresco can make those updates. In addition, the Document Controls Library allows for a variety of data sources, a properties file, a data list, or even a SQL query to an external database if needed, and provides a variety of ways to display this data in multi-select, single-select, or even auto-completion forms. Thank you for joining us for this demo today. If you have questions or want more information, our contact information is provided in the slides at the end of this presentation. Thank you.